We're looking for Jacques.
Good day. Are you the master builder?
What is it?
I'm looking for a mason who may have passed through here. An Englishman with carroty hair. He calls himself Jack Jackson.
A redhead?
Yes. Did you see him? He might have asked for work here.
No, I'm not looking for new masons. We're just doing repairs.
Ah, but was he here?
No, never seen him. Now, stand back, woman. Something could fall on your baby's head.
Okay, I don't... I was told he came here.
I was told he wanted to come here.
Or maybe he changed his mind.
Are you sure you haven't seen him?
It sounds like he has.
I am.
Are there other construction sites around Tours?
Are there other construction sites around Tours?
Well, yes. It's a big town.
And where would an outsider most likely find a job?
Dunno. Ask around.
Yeah, good to really be being obstructive. You hesitated when I mentioned a redhead.
You hesitated when I mentioned a redhead. Are you sure you haven't seen him?
Yes, I am sure. All right, he was here. Was working for me. But I had to throw him out after 2 or 3 days.
Why?
Because he was all want. Let me redesign the roof, let me make the nave lighter. All pretty ideas, but he never shut up long enough to do the work he was supposed to do. Shit, that man was almost as needy as my son when he was still a brat.
He does know a lot about his craft.
Well, I know masons like him. They grow up gifted, but without a mote of discipline in their guts. Can't work with someone like that.
Do you know where he went next?
No idea. Maybe to Limoges or Angoulême. Maybe even to La Rochelle. Seemed to have plans for every cathedral on God's green earth, but none for himself.
I understand. I'll leave you to it then.
Bon voyage.
Bonne chance. Alright, another site with another cathedral, an important free port town. Ooh, flourishing artistic centre. I think that's where I'm going to go.
We had just left Tours when I suddenly felt dizzy. I stopped and made rest, trying to catch my breath, then lost my breakfast in a ditch at the side of the road.
Is this because I went to Paris?
To my horror, our baby too had grown pale, his breath shallow like that of an old man. I tried not to panic, but the next inn was a long distance away and we couldn't stay on the road where it was wet and cold.
Okay, so we have to...
I managed to walk
I
until
didn't
the
see
sun
Tours.
had fully risen before I keeled over. A knife merchant who'd been travelling behind me flagged down a coach heading back to Tours and haggled with the coachman to carry me back to an inn.
I didn't see that there was a spot going back to Tours, which is a bit annoying. So we get redirected back to Tours.
Back in Tours, the fever got worse. I remember people carrying me into a room, laying me on a bed. I tried to feed my baby, but after that, everything turned into a blur. When I awoke, Jack was standing next to my bed.
You sure about this?
He scolded me for following him. You know you could go anywhere you want, he whispered. Why be stupid and follow me? I tried to answer, but he just opened the window and jumped out, heading toward ancient Greece, or maybe all the way to Arabia. And in my feverish mind, I followed him.
Yeah, yeah, it's not Jack. I'm guessing. The latest philosophy of the cradle of civilization. Okay, go on. Yeah, this is just weird. Why?
The further I went, the angrier I got. For years, I'd been fighting for my family. I'd committed myself to an oath to my father. I'd built up a business to sustain it and even married a man I despised so I could create a future for the people around me. I'd known nothing but my duty to the men in my life, while the man I was trying to find lived a life of casual irresponsibility. He traveled the world on a whim to learn about mathematics and philosophy, while I had to raise the child he'd fathered.
You did kind of push him away, though, to be fair to him.
When could I ever do anything just for myself? I asked the world as I went on.
He also didn't know you were having a child. Oh, we went back to Kingsbridge? Like, I should probably...
I'd travelled in a circle all the way to the edge of the world and back, only to return to the place of our failure. With my eyes closed, I listened to the sound of ripping yarn and crumbling walls, and of coaches carrying good people away into a cloud of crimson dust.
I feel I should clarify what I've just said. Which is, yes, in general, there are horrible people like that. Like what she's accusing Jack of in her feverish delirium. But Jack didn't know she was having a child when he left. And he left because she broke things off with him. And he felt there was nothing for him there, and that she didn't want him around. So, poor communication. Well, not really poor communication, but just everything's a mess. And I think it's unfair to blame Jack for this.
When the last moat had settled, I opened my eyes again and found myself in a dirty little room. An old maid was sitting next to my bed and smiled at me, then handed me my baby. Oh, dear God, he still looked so pale.
Ah, he's ginger. He's meant to look pale. Feed him?
I tried to feed him, but he refused.
Okay.
Oh, please, God, let him live. Don't punish him for my own sins. I gently caressed his head until finally he put his mouth to my breast and drank more and more, becoming greedier with every swallow. We had both been spared. We rested one more day. Then I gathered my things and headed back to the cathedral to thank the Lord for his mercy.
I need to thank the Lord for sparing our baby's life. Aren't they usually round? Depends.
This isn't a good place for praying.
Anywhere's a good place to pray.
This isn't a good place for praying.
Anywhere's a good place to pray. Just like, how do I go? Oh, right, I see. I thought this was just an generic statue.
I thank you, dear Lord.
All right, steady
I thank
now.
you for having spared my child. I thank you for...
Don't let go until it's done.
But why are you showing mercy on me? I failed everyone I cared about. I failed Jack. I failed my brother. And if I never return, I would also break the oath I had given Father. It's just that I feel like I've never had a life of my own. I've always fought for others. And this may be the very first time that I fight for something that I only want for myself. Maybe I should just go back and help rebuild Kingsbridge.
I recognise the
Maybe
corbel.
Jack doesn't even care for me anymore. Amen. Huh.
That's a Jack Corbel. Well, that's what he did before.
I've seen one of those before.
It's amazing, isn't it? The man who did that really had it in him.
Had what in him?
Had what in him?
The spirit of a true Mason. It's a shame that the master let him go. In just 1 month, he did so many things.
I thought he left after 3 days.
The master builder said he'd fired him after just 3 days.
Did he? Well, maybe that's how he remembers it. The two didn't really see eye to eye, you know? To tell you the truth, everyone thinks that he feared for his own job, having someone like that around. The last thing Jack did was carve that corbel. It was the one thing the master let him do. Then when he was done, he was asked to leave.
Bears so much pain.
It bears so much pain.
I know. Jacques worked very hard on it. He was impatient and had a temper, but you could see that he tried to overcome it. Conquering that rock was very important to him.
Oh, I understand that so well. Do you happen to know where he went next?
He wanted to walk the pilgrim trail to Santiago de Compostela.
The Camino? The Way of St. James?
He said he might find someone there who knew his father.
Just one more thing. How was he when he left?
Never thought about that. Relieved, I guess. He seemed ready for something new.
Thank you so much for your help.
Think nothing of it. And good luck on your travels. May you find what you are looking for.
That sounds like one of those ancient Chinese curses.
Isn't it odd? Just when you stop looking, you come across the most curious of things. Like these 3 devices that one of my merchants brought back from Baghdad.
Oh no. Is it another one of your Banu Musa toys, Rashid?
They're not toys, Adriel. They're objects of scholarly ingenuity and reflection.
I will let my valued friend from the north do the honors.
What?
Jack, if you may.
What's going on? Feels like we're jumping around a lot.
For one, let me draw your attention to the magnificent songbird on the table. On second thought, why don't you save the lady for last? Otherwise, the other 2 devices might appear bland and boring in comparison.
I agree.
And then, to that wondrous donkey next to the entrance. Although, the most astounding thing of all stands right between them.
That statuette.
Haha, precisely.
So, is this a Steam?
One thing
This is
at
a Steam
time.
thing.
Let us let Jack decide what to demonstrate first.
Well, you told me not the statue.
And now, Jack will heat the water in the tank.
Yeah, obviously. I know that I'm not great with puzzles, as we learnt a little bit in the last book, but yeah, I can figure out how to do this. Steam powered.
It's so beautiful it will make you cry. Just listen.
The Banu Musa. The Banu Musa brothers were 3 scholars of Persian descent who lived in Baghdad in the 9th century. They are known for the Book of Ingenious Devices, a large illustrated collection of mechanical appliances and automata. Those automata were largely designed for entertainment, but featured innovative engineering. The brothers also wrote books on astronomy, astrology, and well, they're the same thing at this point, historically, and geometry, the last of which had a great influence on both Islamic and European mathematicians.
Well, how marvelous.
How does it work?
Maybe it's a miracle.
Right.
Go on, Jack. Tell them.
Yeah, explain it.
There's a hidden wheel inside the box. It turns an axle that in return raises and drops a sequence of small cylinders inside. These cylinders work like fingers playing a flute.
But who is blowing into the flute?
Steam.
Steam?
Yes. When I opened the pipe, it gradually pushed itself into the tube.
The power of steam. For once, I must agree. This is brilliant.
Of course! It was created by a Muslim after all.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. What else have you got, Rashid?
Anyone care for some tea?
Thank you, my daughter. We will have some as soon as Jack has finished our presentation.
Mind if I watch?
Of course not.
Okay.
So, who is this man, Rashid?
Jack is a friend of the house. A brilliant man, a scholar and a talented artist.
So you want me to present
Just the other
this
day,
one?
He explained Euclid to me.
What is that?
Geometry.
A Greek who wrote a book called The Elements of Geometry. The Egyptians translated it into Arabic, and now the Englishmen are turning it into Latin.
How very peculiar.
Water alone. Okay.
Nah, it's too heavy.
Oh, I take the small container. It's a good thing that's not hot.
I could watch this man scoop up water all day.
You may have to. Right, water the donkey. Okay.
Now, watch the head. Just any moment now. There. Did you see?
It threw up.
It threw up.
Rashid, this is disgusting.
Oh, far from it. Would you kindly explain how it works, Jack?
Gone.
You see that bowl floating on top of the water? At the bottom of that bowl is a small hole. Through it, the bowl is slowly filled with liquid. Once it's full, it sinks, pulling a string which makes the ball drop onto a weight. This, in return, pulls the bowl up again, emptying it in the process.
Thus resetting the entire mechanism.
If you timed it perfectly, you could make it drop a ball at every hour.
Turning it into a clock. How clever.
For me, it's still nothing more than a puking donkey.
Show us more, Rashid.
One could join those two and build a singing donkey clock. One song after every hour.
That would be pretty clever.
I know, right? You could be the one to build it.
Oh, that would be unfair. It's your invention.
I would let you have it. Or we design it together.
Yes, Aliena has
You
competition.
still haven't shown us that statuette yet.
Of course. Jack, if you may. Oh, you will love this.
Wait, what?
Just watch.
What? I just picked it up. What? I need to put it somewhere cold. On the small table?
And now?
Just be patient, but don't look away.
Whatever you do,
Takes
don't
some
blink.
time for her to...
To do what?
Is it crying?
Yeah, condensing water around the eyes.
Isn't that amazing?
No, it's irritating. Rashid, what is going on?
It's a mystery. We don't know.
We have no idea how it works.
Rashid, please.
We all know that there is no such thing as a man-made miracle.
And this piece of wood is very clearly made by man.
I very much agree, my friends. But so far, none of us has an explanation.
All we know for certain is that her glassy eyes shed tears when you move her from warmth into cold.
Like a plant at sunrise? Like dew? The only difference is the surface, that's all.
I think you may be onto something.
Am I? Of course, I had no intention of disturbing your conversation. But if you can find out why there's dew gathering on a plant, you may understand why that woman is so weepy. So, who wants a cup of tea?
I'll have some.
Your daughter is quite something, Rashi. A scholar in her own right.
I know. I'd rather she wasn't. It would make marrying her off so much easier.
Oh, I'm certain that won't stay a problem for long.
Maybe the dew originates from invisible water in the air. Water that stays hidden when it's hot.
Guess, yeah.